Dear Bruce. Bruce. It's been too long. Too long. Too long. I haven't seen you in years. I don't even think I've spoken to you in years. And now, I think I need to ask the question. Are we drifting apart? Slowly, further and further, and further and further, and further and further, 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 further and further. 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 Further. Did you ever have a Stretch Armstrong as a kid? Did you also try and pull the arms off? I mean, I guess that's what you were supposed to do, but it's kind of a weird toy when you think about it. It's weird that people drift apart. But then again, maybe it's what we're made to do. Well, I refuse. 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 I 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 refuse. You cannot get rid of me, Bruce. Sorry. I was thinking of giving you a call, but I'm not sure if you own a phone. If anything, you might have one of those antique phones from the 20s that's attached to the wall, where the speaker and receiver are different pieces. And it doesn't work, but it just looks so damn cool. And sometimes, while you're waiting for the eggs to boil, you'll pretend to get a call and make up a little conversation just to give yourself a laugh. You know who could be on the other end of that line, Bruce? I'll give you a guess. Hello? Hello? I was thinking of paying you a visit, but I'm not sure where you live these days. I'm imagining something like an old converted bank vault with a skylight and a nice Persian rug. It's a good place to hibernate for the winter and save money, because the owner remembers you from the soup shop, and you used to give him extra crackers, and he liked that. So he won't charge you rent. Not that anyone wants to live in that old vault anyways, but you know how to make a place feel like home. It's a nice quality. Hello? Hello? Maybe spring came early for you this year, in the form of a roller derby team that needed a good jammer. And they'd seen you ripping along the lake, and they knew that you were the one. And now, you're on the road, in the back of a Volvo with a 3-legged dog named Chooch, staring out the window and wondering if people ever get epileptic seizures from watching cornrows pass. Yeah, a road trip does sound nice.
Talking, like in an altercation, and had one kind of come with him. And we're like, let's get back in the car. And so we get back in the car and we start to back up, and I'm like ducking down, and I look, and this guy's like pointing the gun at us. And she's like slowly lollygagging, like back in the car. I'm like, fucking go, what are you doing? And finally she like turns and drives to the end of the parking lot, and then I hear a gunshot, and I just tell her, like, you know, fucking go, she's not moving, and then she like zooms away. And then we only ended up going to the other end of the building, even though it felt like we drove really far. And then there was like an ambulance, and I don't know, it was weird. It was really strange.
Did you have like really vivid dreams last night?
I've been having some really
Really?
when I have like, if I eat something that like makes my stomach unsettled, or like my stomach, if I have like a stomach ache or something, I find that my dreams are like off the charts weird.
That's crazy. You should do that.
No.
Bruce, do you remember a letter that you sent years ago? Years. I don't think I ever replied. Sorry. But in it, you said I showed up in a dream. And I knew that we were in the dream. And it felt really real, like I was really actually paying a visit. And in the letter you asked if I remembered having this dream. Because maybe I was there. Maybe things that we don't understand are still possible. I've thought about it. And I don't think I ever had that dream. However, there was this one time. I was calling you for some reason, back when you had a phone. And I thought it would be funny when you answered the phone for me to say, "Hello?" But you didn't pick up. Then, later, you called me back, and when I picked up, you said, and I don't know. I don't know how that works. I think I read somewhere that trees can talk to each other through the dirt. I don't know what they're saying. It's kind of funny to think that trees have anything to say at all, actually. But scientists seem to think this is the case, and what do I know? I'm not a tree doctor. But if trees can figure out how to talk to each other through dirt, then anything is possible. You know, another fun plant fact. A plant can theoretically live forever, as long as it's watered and set by the window. Isn't that crazy? That plants don't really have a defined lifespan. They get older, but they don't get old. Just a bit of water and sunlight, and maybe talking to them a bit. You know, I hear plants like that sort of thing. I was reading about the oldest known plant on Earth, called Pando, in Fish Lake, Utah. And they think that this plant, called a quaking aspen, could be upwards of 14,000 years old. Most of the plant is just a root system, and what looks like a grove of trees is actually just a bunch of branches from the same plant. Since most of the plant is underground, it's immune to the dangers of weather and chainsaws. Smart. Seems like a good way to live a long time. Anyways, of all the ways to reach you, this seemed like the best way. So, by now I think you know what to do, and where to find me. And whenever you get around to it, I'd love to hear how the Wurlitzer is doing. Hit me up, Bruce. Sincerely, Ryan.